Oh, yep.
It says setting up your meeting. Oh.
It's notified me that we're being streamed.
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe we're already going for it. It looks like we are. There we go. So, welcome everybody to this episode, I guess, of Spark Stories, where I speak to other business owners about what their spark is, how they got to where they are. I realized that with my parenting mentoring business, I was talking a lot about children and their spark. And then I realized that loads of business owners are the same. Like, loads of us have done one career, gone, no, 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 not that's not for me. I'm going to follow what my true passion is. So today we have Lace Flowers on, which I'm very excited to have. We've met quite recently, but not really had a chance to like chat and get to know each other on a personal level in a way. So I'm really excited today to find out more about you, Lace. So I will hand over to you. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got to where you are, because I think it's going to be an interesting story.
I think you're right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Abby, inviting me on. I'm excited, even though it's 8 o'clock in the morning for me here in Colombia. I'm here and I'm ready to go. So my name is Lace Flowers. I'm a British Jamaican mum living in Latin America. I'm currently in Colombia. I've been here for 2 years and I have been in Latin America since 2022. And I am very unique in what I do. I'm a business and kitchen systems strategist. And so basically, what I do is I help mamapreneurs simplify their online business systems and put lots of profit back in their pocket. And at the same time, we eat great food. We cook together, we biz together, we eat together. And I'm a huge advocate of having children in the kitchen. So it's simple systems in your business, simple systems in the kitchen to make sure that you're nourishing yourself as an entrepreneur in all the ways we need to be nourished so we can go out there and do the things we need to do in the best way that we can do it. So that's in a nutshell what I do.
So cool. I love it all. But particularly the children in the kitchen it very much links to my education ethos, I guess, that children should be involved in day-to-day life and it be
Hmm.
a normal thing because then it becomes a normal thing for when they're older and that's just part of life is that we work together to create meals and our family, the home has to work as a team rather than just parents doing everything. So
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And that's not necessarily how I thought about things when I was growing up. I wasn't really involved in anything
mm,
apart from eating.
yeah.
We always had really fresh food coming from a Jamaican family. You know, food's a big thing. We were
Yeah.
always eating. My mum's been a chef for over 40 years. So I was like really food spoiled. I had great food from scratch every single day, while the kids around me were like eating turkey dinosaurs and like, potato waffles. That wasn't my life. My life was curries and oxtail and chicken wings, lots of chicken. Black people are predisposed to liking chicken. So we ate a lot of chicken, but I had such a great time eating with my family and eating fresh food. And I was never really invited into the kitchen. I would look and go, that looks good, but I
Yeah.
never cooked. And I didn't
Mm.
need to. It wasn't until I was 18 and I got to university and I was like, oh, now on my own, I've got to figure this out because I had choices. I could eat cheesy chips and kebabs. Don't get me wrong, I like cheesy chips, but not every single day of my life.
No.
Um, I could live on microwave burgers and hot dogs like everyone else around me, or I could cook. Now, I didn't really know what I was doing to cook, but I knew what I'd grown up eating. I knew the flavors that I liked. I knew the components that were on my plate on a daily basis. And that's where it started. So I went out, bought the things I knew, and then I would call my mother, I'd call my grandma, and I'd be like, hey, I'm trying to recreate whatever it was, the pasta that you
Yeah.
made or the chicken wings that you made. And I learned to cook on the phone when I was
Oh.
18, being coached by my grandmother and my mum. And that still happens today.
Mm.
My mum's still around, she's still cooking. And my grandma's still around and she doesn't eat too much these days. You know, old people get, they're like, oh, I don't want to eat nothing. But I'll still call her and they'll talk me through stuff that I need or, we'll discuss food. So that's how I learned to cook. And I never thought about children at this point. I wasn't planning on having children, but there was an incident that I'm going to share with you that made me decide on the spot, that's it. My children, as soon as they can get into the kitchen, they're going to know how to cook because this is not happening to my kids. I was in the kitchen one day at university with one of my roommates. His name was Chris, and he had this tin of Heinz baked beans. And was holding the tin, he was looking at it and turning it around, and he was all flustered and freaked out. And I said to him, like, what's wrong? And he goes, there's no cooking instructions on this tin of beans. And I said to him, you do realize you could just open the tin and eat it, like they are cooked. And he was like, yeah, but you're supposed to make them hot. How do I do that? It's like, put them in a pot and turn the gas on. Like, just make them hot. Yeah, but how long? How long does it take until they get hot? I was like, until they're hot. And that's when I thought to myself, this ain't right. We have a group of young adults who are living on microwave stuff, convenience, takeaway, and are having meltdowns over tins of baked beans. This shouldn't be happening. Okay, I couldn't cook, but it wasn't that bad.
Mhm.
And that's when I decided when I have kids, they're not going to get to 18 and melt down over Heinz baked beans. As amusing as it was for me to witness, I didn't ever want my kids to be in that situation.
No, absolutely not. But that does remind me of a story that my mum tells about how when she was at work, they just got married, my mum and dad, and then he rang her to ask how to cook a pizza. So like just a frozen pizza, and she was like, just put it in the oven. And she got home and it was in the oven in the box. And
No way.
yeah, yes way. Hilarious.
Wow.
But yeah, I totally get what you mean because it's just yeah, it just shouldn't be.
It
Um
shouldn't be. It's a basic skill to be able to feed yourself.
yeah.
And
And
I believe everyone should be able to feed themselves more than something that comes out of a box and processed food. I mean, I
yeah,
know that's why the industry is there. It promises to take care of us when we can't, but it shouldn't be like that. And I think as parents, it's our duty to make sure that our children not only know what real food is, but they also know how to cook it.
yeah,
Doesn't mean it
because
have to be a bunch of Gordon Ramsays, but
no. But it's like there's two things to that, isn't there? There's actually the health benefits of it and the fact if we are nourishing our bodies, then we can do so much more and we can be more productive in our businesses. Not that kids have got businesses, we hope,
yes.
but you know what I'm saying. But also that connection that you've got to your mum and your grandma, even though you started to learn to cook a bit later, food is still really connecting you in that sort of maternal line, which is so lovely. And then you're just starting a bit earlier.
Yes,
So
yeah, it
yeah,
does. Food is a connection. I think kitchens are connection points.
yeah,
And I know we know what it's like. We're mums working from home, we're entrepreneurs, we're trying to make it. Some of us have day jobs as well. And the mum
mhm,
guilt is real. I don't have time to play with you. I don't have time to do this. We'll do it later. We'll do it tomorrow. Oh, when I get to X point in my business, then I'll have time to spend with my kids. And then we feel really bad, because we're like, we should be there for them more, but there's too many things going on. Well, what if we could build in quality time every single day by spending the time we're going to spend in the kitchen with our children, not only passing on those skills of, fresh food, this is how we cook and having fun, but it's a perfect time to connect with each other. You're going to eat anyway. So why not use the
yep,
time to be
yeah,
together? And, as kids grow and they learn, they can actually help take the pressure off. Like you
yeah,
said, families working together as teams. And that's what happens because then you can send your kids into the kitchen while you're finishing up your day and say, hey, can you just start peeling the carrots or whatever? And this is what I do. My daughter's 4 now. All my kids have been in the kitchen since they were 2. And my eldest is now 16. I've been cooking with children for over 16 years. And that's what I'll do. So I'll say to her, I'm just finishing up this post or whatever. And I already know what we're cooking. So we discuss food last thing
mm,
at night, first thing in the morning. What are we cooking? So we have that conversation. And I can now say to her, can you go into the kitchen? And I'm coming, but could you start peeling the carrots? Or could you go and wash the pre-cut lettuce or whatever it is? And she can go in there and start. So not only is she using the skills that she's learned and she's, involving herself with real food, but also, when I get into the kitchen, I don't have to peel my carrots. She's already given me a head start. Like, it's perfect. It just makes sense. And you have so much fun. And you don't have to be, you could be Chris in the kitchen and not know how to cook baked beans as the mum. I get there's loads of parents out there who are not the best in the kitchen. And it's okay to admit that. And it's never too late to learn. And you can learn together. And that's the
mhm.
beauty of it.
Oh, it is, yeah, definitely. Um, and how confidence boosting for them to have that independence that they actually are making a difference to their lives and other people's lives, and they're making a positive difference, and it must be so good for their self-esteem and all of those things. Um, I've got a quick question for you.
Mhm.
What would you say to people who are a bit worried about the safety of children being around knives and things like that? Because I've seen that come up quite a few times. I know what I would say, but what I'm interested to hear what you would say.
Um, Obviously it depends on the age of the child, but for me, I keep my knives in the knife strip so they're out of children's reach. And I think it's really important to always have conversations about safety, about what things can do and the consequences of not doing things safely. But also, you don't have to hide knives and stuff from your kids. Like my daughter uses a peeler. She knows the knives are sharp. She's interested in using them. So in order to mitigate my anxiety of her chopping herself up and being able to give her the autonomy to actually use a knife, I've bought children's knives.
Yeah.
So they're made of nylon. You can't cut yourself with them. You could give it a good go and you still fail, but you can still cut, certain things. You can still cut vegetables. You can cut some kinds of meats. Like you can actually make a good impact with these knives. So, and as they grow, you can be there, to guide them with your hands. So, they're not using knives on their own. But until then, or if it just makes you feel better, there's nothing wrong with using the nylon knives and giving them their own kind of setup. And you explain things about gas and electricity and heat and pans. Like I've got cast iron pans. They get super hot
Yeah.
on the handles, even though I've got, those little cover things.
Yeah.
um, you just have to be open and real. And
Yeah.
when you mash up yourself, say, this is what happens. That I'm bleeding because I cut myself. I got
Yeah.
burned because I put my hand on a hot pan. This is what happens.
Yeah.
And it may happen to them as well. But that's okay. It's all part of the learning.
Yeah.
And trust me, they learn quick. They're like, I ain't gonna do that again. So
Yes, my daughter has been cooking and doing stuff with us in the kitchen since probably two-ish, even if not before. And last week was the first time she's ever cut herself or anything, and it was really minor. She was really
mhm.
shocked that it happened, but I think they're a lot more capable than we often give them credit for.
Oh
But
yeah.
also when they are little, just adapt. Like he's two, he's got like a little, I can see it over there, that's why I'm looking. It's like a little wedge cutter thing that's made of wood.
Oh
So
yeah,
he
yeah.
he cuts up his big, there's like a nice little handle. He cuts up his banana with that, and he's quite happy that he's helping in the kitchen. So yeah,
Exactly. Just having tools that make things safe and being open and honest and real with your kids. We're not hiding stuff with them or trying to wrap them in cotton wool. Like you mess about with knives, you will get hurt.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's that simple.
Um, so I don't know if we've already answered it, but I always ask everyone what's your one big tip that people can sort of take into their day, even start today, like a really actionable thing that they can start doing at home. So mums at home in the kitchen, what could they do?
Start really small because I know a lot of people, not just mums, have like this control thing. They
Yeah.
want to control the damage, they want to control the mess, and they think, oh, the kids are going to hinder me. And I think this is a big reason why children do not end up in kitchens young
Yeah,
because the kitchen's a
definitely.
dangerous place. You need to be out. You're under my feet. Get out of the way. It's taking too long. And then no wonder why they grow up freaking out about baked beans. And they go, well, the easiest and safest thing for me to do is to use a microwave or to just get something I can eat straight out of a packet. And that's not what we want. So letting go of kitchen control can be really hard, but you just need to start really small. So it could be just inviting your kids in today just to observe. Maybe you could just ask the children to bring the correct items of vegetables or whatever out of the fridge and put them on a countertop. And then they can just watch and then you can talk about what you're doing, talk about the vegetables or whatever it is that you're cooking. And then slowly, 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 after you've done that today, just give them little extra jobs to do and you start to step back a bit more. And always remind yourself that mess can be cleaned. Like it's not going to be that bad. You're going to be there. It's not like you're putting them in the kitchen today and going, right, you get out the flour and make the dumplings. That's not going to happen. You're going to be there
Yeah.
and you can laugh about the mess. It's really easy to clean up and it's really easy to control. Just take a deep breath and just start real small, even if it's just making like sandwiches together. You don't have to go in and make a big Indian banquet. You could just start with building a couple of sandwiches and making a little afternoon tea and having that in your living room. So just start real small and just build from there. And as your confidence grows, their confidence is going to grow. And then before you know it, you guys will be banging out some really nice meals every single day together. That's exactly what's happened with my 16-year-old now. I put her in the kitchen when she was 2. She never ever came out. By 12, she was pretty much cooking all of the family meals on her own, single-handedly. And she
Yeah.
got her first GCSE in food technology. She was home educated. By 13, we were in Mexico. She had a job in a cafe. She was planning meals, buying the produce, cooking the meals, and serving them. People came to that cafe because she was there. It actually shut down when she left, unfortunately. But people came because of her and how great her food was. Now she's 16. She's now doing her GCSEs in school. She's gone back to finish her formal education. I believe she's already done the food technology one. I'm not sure if it was a mock or not. Sometimes she don't make no sense with what she's saying. But it was an A,
Yeah.
as I expected. She planned a
Yeah.
meal, she banged it out. It looked amazing. And she's the only child in her entire year group from her school that has been invited to go and do a week's work experience in the Jamie Oliver kitchen in central London
Oh,
this year.
amazing.
So it just shows you don't know where it's going to go. They may not
Yeah.
grow up and be like
Yeah.
chefs, but she's got it down. She knows what she's doing. When she gets to university, she ain't having no meltdowns about baked beans. I know she's going to be okay. She's going to be healthy. You know, she can choose between what is good and what is not, and she'll be able to make those choices. And she won't have to default to the microwave. She won't have to default to living on cheesy chips and kebab. She can eat those things if she wants to, but she's not going to have to. She's
Yeah.
not going to feel like, oh, this is all I can manage because I don't know anything else. And that's exactly what I set out to do before she was even conceived, was to make sure that she would be in this position. So
Yeah,
I think it worked.
definitely.
And
Yeah,
it's never too
amazing.
late. Start
No.
early, start as early as you can, but it's never too late. If you're like, oh my gosh, my kid's 7, my kid's 14, doesn't matter. Just start.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing as well because I think some people are sitting there, probably sitting there thinking, I don't do any of this at the moment, and it's like a bit daunting and a little bit overwhelming to start. But I think saying start small is really, really helpful. And
Yeah.
yeah, because anyone can do just a little bit, and then just grow from there.
Yes. Yeah. You're gonna eat anyway,
Yeah, yes, you
you
are.
know? So bring them in. Bring them in.
Cool. I'm just looking at the comments. We've got some comments coming in. I don't think
For
we've got any
sure.
questions, but just saying it's our responsibility to teach our kids, and yes, food is such a social thing. Um, my daughter cooks for me if I've had a physio day. I've had my daughter
Yeah.
rock the knife from a young age, so safer. But yeah, no, that's really cool.
I like the
Yeah,
knife rocking idea. That's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
Yeah. You did ask me how I got here,
yeah,
and because I wasn't always here,
yeah.
I always cooked. Like I said, I've been cooking with my kids for 16 years now, but it's only this year I've started bringing food into my business at all.
Mm.
I've always been one of those people that's going to post my dinner on Facebook. Um, I've always been one of those people, but I really do enjoy it. Um, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was VAing. When I left the UK, I was escaping a very abusive and horrible situation. I just wanted to leave. And I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have a job abroad. I couldn't speak any Spanish. I didn't have any savings. Like I had nothing. I was
Mm.
starting from scratch. And back then I was a crypto coach for women, just teaching women about cryptocurrency and how to get involved without getting scammed, basically. Um, and I launched my first digital product and I was like, well, hey, I'm just gonna go and figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. Got on a plane with all my stuff, one way ticket, and was like, it's got to be better than what I've been living through for the last 7 years. I'll work it out. That's as far as I thought it through. I knew I was going to Mexico and I had no idea what was going to happen after that. So we went to Mexico, we lived for a year, and how I got here was like a bunch of pivots.
Yeah,
And I think that's really important for us as entrepreneurs is to know it's okay to pivot. Just because you set
yeah,
out to do one thing does not
yeah,
mean you have to stick to it. Don't feel like bound by this original idea that you had. Like take the path of least resistance. So once I decided, the crypto stuff, I'm not really doing that
doing that
anymore.
anymore.
Things were a bit, things were up and down. The market had a like serious crash, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to transition out of this. I've got other, things up my sleeve, and they didn't
And they didn't
necessarily work.
necessarily.
And then I ended up in Dominican Republic. So I spent a year in Mexico. I spent 10 days in Guatemala. We literally walked back into Mexico, then flew to Dominican Republic. And I was poor. We were living on pasta. The food out there was not really the one. I think I was in completely the wrong place. I've not been to all of Dominican Republic, so I'm
Mm.
not dissing the entire country. It wasn't for me. Um, and my friend Amber Sherelle was sick. She was launching something and she said, "Hey, like I really need some support to launch this thing. You know, it's happening, but I'm sick and I can't do the work. Would you VA for me?" And I was like, "Yes, we just need to eat. Like, what do you need? I'll do anything." Because I'd been in the online space since 2016, and I was like, I want to make money online. I want to be location independent. I want to have my own money. And well, that's a whole different story. That was hard, because people don't tell you the reality of what it is to make money online. They go, "Oh, just make a blog and money will come
Yeah.
in." No, that's not how it works. So I did that for her, but all the skills that I've learned since then were now coming in handy. I realized I liked it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do this. Now I'm going to be a VA." So I did that. I had clients, and that kind of went on until last year, where I specialized in like being a tech kind of VA.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really want to bring my food into this. I really want to just do food, like, because this is my passion. I'm good at all the technical stuff.
Hmm.
That's my gift. But my passion is food and eating and
Yeah.
families and connecting in that kitchen. And, people are like, you can't do that. Don't tell me what I can and
Yeah.
can't do.
Oh, there's no
Um,
better motivation, is there, than probably can't do that.
but how are you going to bring those two, like, seemingly, opposite kind of concepts
Mm.
together? And I was like, I'll find a way. I didn't have answers at the time, but I'll find a way.
Yeah.
And I did find a way. And here we are now doing both. This is how Tech and
Yeah.
Taste was born, because the tech is important. We don't want to spend all of our time opening tabs, closing tabs, logging into all these different things, trying to get them to talk to each other. And we're just like, peeing time away
Mm.
into the ether. We don't need to do that. And then we're paying for all of these subscriptions at the same time and wondering,
Yeah.
hang on, why don't we have any money in our pockets? So that's that part. And then the food as well, you need the food to fuel your brain, to fuel your body, to fuel your family. And if you're not well nourished, you don't feel like you've got good energy. You're not ready to go out there to get all them good ideas and to go and show up the way you need to show up. So they actually belong together. I don't believe you can have
Yeah.
one without the other. And that answers your question as to how I got here. It was a bunch of pivots and a leap of faith that yes, I could actually bring these two worlds that don't seem like they go together.
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing people's journeys to where they are because it's so interesting that everything that happens seems to happen for that exact reason that gets you to where you are. And yeah, even though some horrible things happen, often that gets us to where we are. So
I
yeah,
wouldn't change any of it.
yeah.
It's been the best adventure ever. And now I'm in Colombia and I'm quite happy. So
Nice. So
mm.
where can people find you? And is there anything else you wanted
uh
to share with us, like an upcoming event or anything?
well, you can find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Um I'm sure we'll just drop the link below.
Yeah, yeah,
I have
absolutely.
my website and blog, which is techandtaste.com. We'll drop that link as
Yeah.
well. Um, I do kind of funny about a bit on Instagram, but I think Facebook is Facebook is kind of where I usually am.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my website is a great place for you to come and find me. Upcoming events at the moment, I don't have any, but I do occasionally run cook-offs. So you come and join me and my taste members, and we cook something together. And you're welcome to bring your kids, and I walk you through all the ways you can involve them from two to teens, and it's just loads of fun. I'm not sure when the next one is yet. I haven't
Okay.
decided. We just did one on Monday, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I've got the tech membership and the taste membership, and there's also the combined. So if you're interested
Ah,
in,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
sorting out your systems and making them simple and learning how to use the software that I um, recommend, you can come and learn more about that. And there's Taste, where there's the World Recipe Library. Every recipe has, children friendly, age appropriate tasks. We get together twice a month and we cook live. and you've got all the frameworks for letting go of kitchen control, building kitchen confidence, and loads of other stuff going on in there. So it's a little community and we have loads of fun. So you're more than welcome to come and join that as well.
Nice. Well, thank you very, very much. It was lovely, lovely, lovely to talk to you and find out a bit more about you. And for anyone else watching, please do pop your comments below. Any questions you've got for Lace, then let us know as well. And she will put all her links and things below so that you can go and have a look. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I've got to go and pick up a load of children now. So lovely, lovely
Go
to
get them
talk
in
to you.
that
Thank you so
kitchen.
much for coming on and chatting with us. And I will speak to you very,
Thank
very
you.
soon. Bye.
Ciao.